This is P.Rod, and you're watching my FirstHand. Here we are in Chatsworth, in the valley, where it's usually about 102 degrees in the summer. Hot as all hell. I love the valley. I mean, this is where I grew up. This is what I know. This is where my friends are, my family. Yeah, people always ask me, why don't you go to Hollywood or LA? I don't feel like I need to be right on Sunset Boulevard party scene. It's what I need to be there for. I'm 15 minutes away. I'll see you when I get there. I started skating when I was about in 7th grade. And for that Christmas, I got a lot of Christmas money, so I went out. I bought my very first complete Powell Blank, Ventures, some Rat Bones. Grew up skating with all my friends at school, and Nigel, my roommate, and we still skate, we still have fun.
The first time I heard of Paul, I think he was like 15 years old, skated for City Stars. He reminded me of Guy Mariano, like Guy Mariano's early days when Guy just came out, little kid, ripping, and there hasn't been a kid like that in years.
Out of nowhere, here comes this little kid. He must have been 13-ish, maybe 14. He was skating the stage, and he was killing it. And I remember I was there with Greco and Reynolds, and they were all, man, like, that kid is so good.
Paul just came back and brought that look back of this little kid just on his board shredding.
I first realized that I wanted to make skateboarding my career probably when I was about 15 years old.
So when he told me that he wasn't gonna follow my dream the same way I didn't follow my father's, I got mad for a second, but love overcame that.
He was like, skating? How are you gonna live off skating? How are you gonna have a life from skating? Well, Daddy, here I am.
I'm glad he didn't listen to me, just like I didn't listen to my dad.
He still went through what I went through, like, you know, people doubting you, not taking you seriously. I want to be a pro skater, yeah, whatever.
My dad basically inspired me, because I think every child wants to prove to their parents that, you know, I'm gonna make it on my own, you know? I just hope that he becomes a good example, not only to kids of every ethnicity, but especially to Latino kids. We really need heroes.
There is no typical day of skating in the valley. Each day is different.
Paul kills Silmar, a little playground for him. Plays with those rails like they're G.I. Joes or something. He's just rifling through them.
Yeah, you got to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's funny, Albertsons it's just a loading dock behind a grocery store. It was like his little training ground to just flip his board off it.
I've been skating there since I started skating. Every flat ground trick I learned, I went to Albertsons right after and tried it off of there, you know, and I wouldn't leave until I got it.
I mean, skating with Paul is amazing. The kid is so consistent. I think Albertson's loading dock, though, has helped his career immensely, and just having flat bars around the house.
Well, we just finished our day skating flat ground and we got kicked out, so we're pretty bummed, but we don't have to deal with that anymore because Omar and I are going to Europe and we're gonna have a great time and it's gonna be fun.
Hi, this is the real P.Rod. I'm the OG. I'm the original Paul Rodriguez. Stay tuned for Fuel TV. Coming up is my son.
London, I'd been there once before. And, you know, we skated some good spots. We saw some historical things, Big Ben, old buildings, history, cool accents with the people, good Indian food, and it was mellow.
Right now, just going to a demo.
Our first demo, I believe, was the second day of the trip. We started off with a little visit to the skate shop. Bunch of kids in there. We're signing some autographs. Unfortunately, it was hot as all hell in there, so we're sweating it up. From there, we went to South Bank Skate Park. It's like a little spot under a bridge with a bunch of ledges and different little obstacles you could skate that people built and put it there for skating. We had a good demo. A lot of dudes got some good tricks. Couldn't ask for anything better. The next day, we went to the skateboard. I'm not too sure what it's called. It wasn't really personally my favorite, but Omar definitely had a great time there. Omar definitely shredded up. Birdman, Trey flipped over the big-ass pyramid. Omar was just doing everything on the launch to wall, or whatever you want to call it, bank to wall. And everyone was ripping. It was cool. So from there, we ended up going to, I believe, Sheffield, England the next day. We visited Sebastian's shop, which was the guy who was taking us around, I think the Nike European distributor.
We're gonna set up some boards and we're gonna skate.
I don't understand.
He took us to this pretty cool skate park. It had a long, ledge with a gap in it, 2 manual pad concoction deal they made. It was cool. Had a perfect pyramid with hubbards going down the side. Had a little baby pyramid. Had all the works. It was good.
You feel pain? How? You're a machine, aren't you?
Sometimes we found spots that they weren't even trying to take us to. Right as we park in the parking lot, we see this little wooden fence that you can go over, and it has a nice drop to it. And we ended up just skating that the whole time. Until our session got canned because the landing was right into a parking spot. This one lady parked there and she would not move. We would ask, please, we don't want to hit your car. We're skating right here. Ah, hell no, this is a parking lot, you shouldn't be here, which, technically she has the right to, but...
No, I don't want to move, but she's cute, man. Did you see how hot she was? Can't really complain. I wouldn't complain.
The ledge spot that we skated in England was really good. It was multi-levels. Ledges, they didn't look like they'd grind or slide at all, but I tell you one thing, they were slick as all hell. Me and Uyghur were doing some back-to-backs, some doubles on it. He was on the ledge behind me, which was on a higher level, and I was on the bottom level, and we went at the same time doing tricks. They got photos and filmed it. And you know, I love skating ledges, so I didn't have a problem skating those ledges. Like, I could have skated there all day, and we pretty much did. Some tricks, had a few laughs, had a few cries, and we got the hell out of there. From Sheffield, we headed over to Manchester, and on the way there, we went on a pretty cool scenic road. But yeah, we stopped off at a couple places on the side of the road. We saw herds of sheep and just so much green land that I couldn't even believe. It was cool just like being around that much history. How many armies and soldiers have marched on this land for this reason.
And they say back in the 1500s that the moss that was below it before was actually the most pure. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'm doing.
Omar was a great guy to have on the trip. We just had a good time. You know, we were just learning new things at the same time. So like that also helped us, you know, bond us, you know, so it was cool. Owen, what can I say about him?
Built for comfort, not for speed, man.
He was our driver. Super cool guy, rad guy, told us tons of stories. He had battle scars, just everything. Like a guy had experienced life, you know. He was a skydiver slash black belt in karate slash tour bus driver. The Nike team's tight because we don't all fit under the same genre, I guess you could say, of skating. It's cool how we're diverse, and it's crazy because a lot of the dudes, you know, I never thought I'd ever be going on trips with a few of the guys, you know, and now I'm good friends with them, and it's crazy just to see where skateboarding has taken me, where things that I never thought would happen. Amsterdam was all around A-OK spot for me. It was hard finding our way around the city because a lot of the things look the same, like the whole architecture, all the buildings look the same, and it's like columns of just canals. You don't see fat people in Europe, really. They actually move around, take the bus, walk, do something. Like in Holland, they ride bikes, dude. They have bikes everywhere. You can rent a bike or buy a bike off anyone at any time. They look like just a big colony of ants. There's so many bikes. One day when it was raining, the dudes there knew about a skate park that was actually inside of an abandoned building. These dudes just brought a camper in there and some generators and couches and all that. Built obstacles, built a whole skate park inside this building. Omar and Todd pretty much manhandled the wall rides, pretty much breaking it off and showing it who's boss. The obstacles were good, the box was fun, little manual pads, they had the works, you know. Dudes definitely made a makeshift skate park, and it was tight. And on the roof of that very abandoned building with the skate park in it, just happened to have two really good gaps there. But unfortunately, the main gap that we wanted to skate was filled with disgusting water. I would have wanted to skate it if it wasn't filled with a swamp. I saw an alligator in there, I'm serious. There was another gap there, 3 feet high, loading dock or whatever, 6 or 7 stairs high. and then you skate over the set of stairs, over another wall, and we skated there for at least an hour, hour and a half.
I got a thing on my mind. I'm sure not gonna find it. I got a thing on my mind. Sure not gonna find it. Don't let nobody tell me my thing it won't come true. 'Cause I ain't lying down till I get my dues. I got a thing on my mind. I'm sure not gonna find it. I got a thing on
Oh my goodness, dude.
I'm sure not gonna find
That was the second try.
Now good things don't come easy. Lord knows that I've tried. 'Cause I got what I got. 'Cause better folks have died.
From the Gap, we actually went straight to a demo in Eindhoven, where it's Uyghur's hometown.
Welkom to Eindhoven, thuis van Uyghur van Wagner.
Help me get over it. Help me get over it. Remind me how to mean it. The cool and make the scene it. Make me into a sincere mess to the cough, homeless hypocrite. I can lose it, I can cry. I can rise up, I can get so starry-eyed. Help me get over it. Help me get over it.
Afterwards, we stayed and hung out for a while because it was like a whole bar area, hangout area there. And some kid actually told me, he was like, you know, sign my leg, I'm gonna get it tattooed. He insisted on it, so I signed his leg, and next thing you know, I see it on Crail tab. Now I know somebody out in Holland, in Europe, is walking around with my signature just on their leg for the rest of their life.
The autograph of Paul Rodriguez, man. I'm gonna get a tattoo. Woo!
We also skated this cool little bump in the middle of a playground, just full of kids, just a bunch of little kids running around, just screaming, yelling. They would stand in lines and just have a cheering squad, and they would just cheer every time someone did a trick, and even if you failed, they would laugh at you, and they were just being little kids. In America, you can't just go to a playground and clear out a school of kids, you know, like, they show a lot more appreciation. They actually step back and watch us skate. And I hope that one of the kids that were there that day, when they went home, they were like, Mom, you know, can you buy me a skateboard? I want to skate. You know, for all we know, we started some kids skating.
Grown-ass dudes hanging out at the playground. Sketchy. Yeah.
They took us to this cool Gap trail. It was crazy because it wouldn't even have been a Gap trail. It was just normal 9-stair. Me and Omar had a blast there. Super sick spot that if they had it here, it would have definitely been tore up by now. I had to take matters into my own hands and confiscate one of the filmer's cameras because I just felt that I could capture the angle. I captured it way good, if I might add. And I enjoyed Holland. It was probably my favorite part of the tour. Our day in Paris was strictly sightseeing. You know, it was our last day of the trip. We didn't really skate, you know, we wanted to actually take in the place. Because when you're skating, you don't really stop or have time to see all the cool sights and things. So that last day, we just took it all in and just made memories. We went to Europe for free, lived it up, had a blast. It just taught me stuff about life, you know. I learned new things about other people's culture that I didn't know before. You know, I've achieved much more than I ever dreamed of. I'm thankful for that every day. It's crazy, you know, anyone could relate who's living their dream and doing what they want to do. What can I complain about? Life is good.